Rather than try and fit everything I have to say into 5 minutes, we've taken this document I'm going to discuss, and we'll put a link on the COFES website so you can all get at it, download it, and play with it if it turns out to be something that interests you. My name's Mike Riddle. I work with Evolution Computing, and I've been in CAD since the dark ages. And when they started, basically everything in CAD was hardwired. We had our objects, we had the things we worked with, but they had no behaviors. Any behavior that existed was into the program, it was hardwired, it was in the design. As we move forward in time, we came across this thing we call hyperlinks. Ted Nelson, who never really made a product, managed to come up with the term, coin the term hyperlink. And a hyperlink was a very interesting thing because it was the first time that we actually had behaviors as part of our data. The web in all of its glory rests on that idea that part of this text can actually have meaning, can relate to actions and cause things to happen, and the user, the person who writes that web page, can define those actions. A gentleman named Doug Engelbart, somebody that I think is sort of the Einstein of the computer world, did a demo in 1968 where he introduced the mouse, email, interactive text editing, video collaboration, dynamic linking, tagging and searching, and he had both text and graphic links, essentially like a hyperlink, showing that you could relate to information, that you could have something that caused actions to occur. And that to me is a rather interesting point. It's the point of my talk. And he was describing the idea that rather than have a single fixed user interface, we wanted to have our user interface tailorable to our tasks, to the things we were trying to accomplish. So if you were going to organize a list of things to do in your travels in a day, it might be graphically organized. If you're going to organize things to buy at the store, it might be a linear list. They need different ways to represent them. Now, Bill Atkinson, the father of QuickDraw for the Macintosh, created a program, HyperCard. This is a wonderful program that took this idea of user programmability, of assigning actions into the things you created, the drawings you made, to great extent. People made a lot of other products based around it. It was marvelous. And then when they went to OS X, somehow it vanished off the face of the earth. If anybody knows the story of why that happened, I'd like to hear from them. I first started trying to play around with this idea in 1991. To follow up on what I wanted to see happen, okay? Where I put scripting into the thing so I could take and describe hot little buttons and make relationships between them. Now this is primitive, it's early, but the thing was it was a real relationship. It wasn't a sequence of PowerPoints I went through and stepped it out there. If I deprive it of fuel, the flame goes out. Hitting the ignition won't start it. It's a very simple model, but it, you know, in 1991 it did the trick. So now we come up to a product that is the main point I want to get across. It's Labview from National Instruments. I was first shown this by Sam Miller. We'll be talking to you in a minute. And this uses visual programming. It uses the process of visually organizing and putting your data together in ways that will achieve the effect you want. The NASA large-scale wind tunnel at Langley is run entirely by this program. So here we have actual models. If I turn and run controls, you can see that these visual graphic objects actually exhibit behavior. And that's truly the important point about that. So the last thing I would like to show is another example of visual editing, this map zone product. This is where they've taken shaders and put them together visually as a set of steps and created the actual code that makes the shader. As we see these steps up here, and it goes through all these things, and as you program it, you literally drag and drop and put these pieces into effect. And that's the kind of idea that I want to see people consider for future user interfaces in our products. Thank you.